निधि तारे दस दया तारे दस ज्ञान राजेन्द्र इलता ते राजेन्द्र इलता ते ताहर किंकर जय धर्म नामे परिचय ताहर धर्म नामे परिचय परंपरा जन भल मते परंपरा जल जन मते जय धर्मदास ख्याति श्री पुरुषोत्तम यति जय धर्मदास ख्याति श्री पुरुषोत्तम जाति ताहाँ हते ब्रह्मयति सूरे ताहाँ हते ब्रह्म तीर्थ सूरे दया सिद्ध तर दास लक्ष्मीपति व्यास दास दया सिद्ध दास लक्ष्मीपति व्यास दास ओ ताहाँ हते माधवेन्द्र पुरी ताहाँ हते ओ माधवेन्द्र पुरी वर शिष्यवर श्रीश्वर माधवेन्द्र पुरी वर शिष्यवर श्रीश्वर नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत विभो नित्यानंद ओ ईश्वर पुरी के धन्य करिले न श्री चैतन्य श्रीश्वर पुरी के करिले नि श्री चैतन्य जगद्गुरु गौर महाप्रभु जगद्गुरु गौर महाप्रभु ओ महाप्रभु श्री चैतन्य राधा कृष्ण नहे अन्य महाप्रभु श्री चैतन्य ओ राधा कृष्ण ओ रूपानुग जनेर जीवन रूपान जनेर जीवन रूपानुग जनेर जीवन रूपानुग विश्वंभर प्रियंकर श्री स्वरूप दामोदर विश्वंभर प्रियंकर श्री गोस्वामी रूप सनातन श्री गोस्वामी रूप सनातन रूप प्रिय महाजन जीव रघुनाथ हन रूप प्रेम O Tara Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa, Tara Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa, O Krishna Dasa Priya Vara, Narottama Seva Para, Krishna Dasa Priya नरोत्तम सेवा पारा जहाँ पद विश्वनाथ आसा जहाँ पद विश्वनाथ आसा ओ विश्वनाथ भक्त साथ बलदेव जगन्नाथ विश्वनाथ भक्त बलदेव जगन्नाथ तार प्रिय भक्ति विनोद तार प्रिय भक्ति विनोद ओ महाभागवत वर श्री गौर केशर महाभागवत श्री गौर केशर वर ओ महाभागवत वर श्री गौर किशोर वर हरे भजन तेजार मोद हरे भजन तेजार मोद इहार परमहंस गौरांगेर निज वंश दार परम ओ गौरांगेर निज वंश तंदेर चरणे मम गति तंदेर चरणे मम गति आमी सेवा उदासीना नामते त्रिदंडी दीना आमी सेवा उदासीना नामते त्रिदंडी दीना श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती श्री वसवन वीर सदय सेवाय सेवा पर श्री वसन भम व्योरा सदा सेवै सेवा पर ताहार दयित दस धाम ताहार दयित दस नाम तारा प्रधान पदार्थ करे श्री भक्ति विनोद नाम तारा प्रधान पचार को श्री भक्ति विनोद नामे ओ तारा प्रधान प्रचार को श्री भक्ति विनोद नाम तारा श्री भक्ति वेदांत नाम पतित जनित दया धाम पतित जनित धाम Patita Nirdaya Dhama Prati. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Bol Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Oh Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
So I'll just do the pranam mantras and then proceed to the discussion. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gnanjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadanti Kam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragutam Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpataribhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Ramapada Swami Iti Namine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in opening this presentation, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj, the spiritual master of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who is renunciation personified. He's always merged in a feeling of separation from and intense love of Krishna. Name Gaura Kishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasam Bodhe Padam Vujaya Te Namaha. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he's described his spiritual master. We just sang this beautiful song that was dedicated to Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And one of the stanzas was Maha Bhagavata Bara, Shri Gaura Kishor Bara, Hari Bhajanate Jara Moda. So he's actually describing his spiritual master in this song. And in particular, he's saying the eminent Bhagavata, Shri Gaura Kishor Das Babaji, whose sole joy was found in Hari Bhajan. So that was the particular significance and why we sang, or we went through that particular song. Sorry. So it was on November the 17th, 1915, on the holy day of Uttanikadasi, which we have today, that Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj disappeared from this world. So many of us were born in the previous century. So it was right at the start of the previous century that Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj left this world. And at that moment, when he actually left the world, there were so-called Babajis of Navadweep, and they immediately began arguing. So this is a symptom of Kali Yuga, there's argument always. So they began arguing with each other as to who would give the samadhi to the transcendental body of Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. And they all had some ulterior motive. Namely, they wanted to own the samadhi temple themselves, so they could make money in the future from visiting devotees and pilgrims. So there was at that time, naturally, to establish law and order, a policeman was there, a certain Sri Barindra Nath Singh, and he was apprehending that there was going to be some breach in the peace. So he arrived, and after much argument, the Babajis said that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was not a sannyasi, and therefore he didn't have the right to give samadhi to Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. So this is at the moment he's left his body, and this is what takes place. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he responded in a thunderous voice, and these were his words: I am the only disciple of Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. Although I'm not a sannyasi, I have observed brahmacharya, celibacy, all my life. By the grace of Srila Babaji Maharaj, I have not lived a secret life of illicit conduct and debauchery, like some monkey renunciates. If there is someone amongst those present here who has a genuine, pure character and who is a renunciate, then he can give samadhi to Srila Babaji Maharaj, and we have no objection to that. If there's anyone here, so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur put down the condition, the criterion that had to be met that would permit somebody to consider erecting the samadhi for Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. So he carried on, he emphasized it even further, the criterion. If there's anyone here who in the last 1 year or 6 months, or even in the last 3 days, did not have any illicit contact with a woman, then he can touch this blissful transcendental body. If anyone else touches this body, he will be ruined. So this was the announcement. Very dramatic, very dramatic. And if one pauses for a moment and goes back, when Gaura Kishor Das Babaji was residing in a Dharmashala in Kalia, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he'd asked him how he had lived in Vraja, and he asked many questions of Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj about the residents of Vrindavan and the many devotees who were performing solitary service, meaning they would be in Babajis. So it's internal solitary meditation on Krishna. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he specifically asked Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj about the Bhajanandis. So the very same a category of persons that were at this moment, at the time of the departure of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, who were breaking out into this argument. He, much earlier, had asked Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj about the Bhajanandis, who appeared to be perfectly self-realized souls. And upon hearing the question, Srila Gaura Das Babaji laughed again and again. So he didn't laugh just once, he laughed a lot. And he responded to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in this way: they are all imposters. It's a very precise evaluation of those Bhajanandis in Vrindavan. So one of the Babajis in question, who lived at Kusama Sarova, I should say, in Vrindavan, was famed as a great Bhajanandi. So he had a few disciples, and they were also reputed to be self-realized souls. So at home I have Kusam Sarova very large on my wall because I consider it the most sacred, beautiful place. So this particular Bhajanandi was residing there. And Babaji Maharaj did not even slightly agree to their being genuine. So he didn't even slightly nod, nothing. After some time, these pretenders, because that was his assessment of the Bhajanandis in Vrindavan, what happened to them is they became afflicted with leprosy. And leprosy is a very terrible disease because the whole physical form starts to get eaten away. And so the point that was being made, and this was an emphasis that Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj was putting, that they'd resided in the Dham with their intelligence bent upon sense gratification, and they'd behaved offensively even to Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. So the intelligence, everything external looked in order, but actually the intelligence was looking how to actually satisfy their senses. So that was the assessment of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, and it became publicly visible through them succumbing to leprosy. Now, returning to this moment when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur lays down this condition that has to be met before somebody can claim the body of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, the inspector, an intelligent man, he asks this question: what will be the proof of this? Because it's requiring people's honesty, or these Babaji's honesty. So the inspector says, well, what's going to be the proof of this? And everyone there was amazed to see that all the so-called Babajis, they immediately left. Not one of them even responded. They just left the scene. And the inspector himself was completely dumbfounded. There's mention in a different source that I was seeing that actually Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he apparently also responded to the inspector, and he said, I'll accept their words. But in fact, no words were forthcoming. They literally were shut down and they departed. No further argument. They certainly couldn't meet the criterion that had been placed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now, there's a generalization that Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj always gave beneficial instructions to persons who approached him with faith and humility. So this was a general part of his magnanimity, no matter what their spiritual status. So on one occasion, a seeker came to Babaji Maharaj to hear some topics connected to the Supreme Lord, but instead he heard some very harsh words from Babaji Maharaj. So he had one expectation, and he was thinking he's going to come and discuss something about Krishna's pastimes, but instead it wasn't like that. The seeker therefore resolved to never go near Babaji Maharaj again. And after some time, however, he found himself in a very distressed mental condition, like his mind was very troubled. So he actually returned to Babaji Maharaj. And Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj instantly realized the reason for this man's depression, because he saw that it was a kind of depression, the troubled mind. So he told him, "Oh," this is Babaji Maharaj talking, "Oh, you have left the association of devotees where topics about Krishna are discussed, and now you're living in a secluded place and performing solitary worship of Lord Krishna. When one hears the topics of the Supreme Lord in the company of devotees, then one becomes free from the net of Maya's illusion. But if one performs worship of the Lord in a secluded place, not in the association of devotees, one becomes caught by the illusory energy. As a consequence, instead of topics about the Supreme Lord possessing the heart, mundane subject matters will occupy the heart instead." So this is Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj doing an assessment to the man when he returns. Now the seeker, he responds to Babaji Maharaj. So he's just heard these words from Babaji Maharaj doing an assessment of his situation. And this is what he says to Babaji Maharaj. "I thought it better to reside in a secluded place and perform my own individual worship than to become disturbed by hearing the sharp words of a sadhu." So he's very pointed in his attack even on Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. He says, he made this decision rather than having to hear the sharp words of a sadhu. So very pointed. And Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj replies in this way. Very interesting, this conversation. "Please take note that those sadhus who speak sharp words," Kishor Kishori ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Gaunitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Srila Gaura Kishor Babaji Maharaj, he replies to this man and says to him, "Please take note that those sadhus who speak sharp words to drive away the witch of illusory energy are actually the only real devotees of Lord Krishna and friends of the living entities. The conditioned living being experiences the distressful quarreling of his wife and close relatives and is rudely treated by them until death. Yet he never desires to leave their association. On the other hand, he absorbs himself in trying to appease and serve them. But when a devotee of the Lord, who's always desirous of the living entity's ultimate welfare, chides him just once with instructions meant to drive away Maya, then that conditioned entity immediately makes plans to leave the saintly person for his entire life. If you actually want to perform devotional service properly, then you must accept the harsh language of the sadhu as the medicine by which Maya can be given up. By this, one can obtain the necessary spiritual advancement to successfully chant the holy name." For me personally, reading this particular narration and this conversation between Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj and this man who'd chosen to go and perform his solitary worship, over a lifetime of performing devotional service, I've really come to appreciate that what appears to be very harsh coming from the spiritual master is actually the greatest act of kindness that one can possibly experience. And the same thing with realized devotees. If there's something that appears harsh to one's mind, it's generally the greatest kindness you've been shown. So I was appreciating this particular narration and interaction and conversation. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he later wrote an essay entitled "The Search for Truth." Now, there's no doubt that the words of the sadhu possess the power to destroy the evil propensities of one's mind, because that's what the sadhu is going for. Whatever's the unpleasant aspect in the mind. So the sadhu in that way benefits everyone who associates with him. So the real sadhu makes one speak out what we keep concealed in the heart. He then applies the knife. So this is the job of the sadhu. So it's not that the sadhu is supposed to go along with one's mind and pacify one's mind as one's mind's driving one, but rather the sadhu brings out something that's hidden in one's mind, and then the sadhu cuts it to pieces, what's emerged. So the real sadhu makes one speak out, and that's concealed, and he applies the knife, as I said. And the word sadhu has no meaning other than that he stands in front of the block with the uplifted sacrificial knife in his hand. That's actually the sadhu. And it's not usually how one thinks of sadhu. One thinks, sadhu is somebody just speaking pleasant words that are pleasing to one's ear. Not necessarily. This is the description from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta in his essay entitled The Search for Truth, that there's no meaning to the word sadhu unless that sadhu is standing in front of a block with an uplifted sacrificial knife, ready to chop whatever is emerging from a disturbed mind of living entities. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. You can see the continuity where he's taking what Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj is exposing, and he's meditating deeply on it and writing further. So the sensuous desires of persons in general, by the merciful stroke of the keen edge of the sacrificial knife in the hand of the sadhu, or the unpleasant language, is what actually destroys that suffering that is actually going to be caused by following how the mind is dictating one to function. If the sadhu were to turn into a flatterer, then he does one harm. He becomes one's enemy. If he gives us flattery, we lead to the road that brings enjoyment and no real well-being. So it takes a lot of faith and courage, and Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj was extremely kind in that dialogue that I read, actually directly telling this man, making that comparison between how one tolerates the insults even of one's spouse and children, and one will go a whole lifetime still trying to please them and appease them. But if a sadhu one time says something that is not how one's mind, what one's mind wants, one rejects the sadhu, or one leaves devotional life. So very pointed, the teaching of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta even writing further on the topic. So going back to the moment of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj leaving his body, by the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, the Vaishnava devotees with him were fortunate enough to carry that transcendental body of Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. And then more comes. Some people say, these are the words of the general public, when Srila Babaji Maharaj was alive, he said, and they're quoting presumably his words, "My body should be dragged on the ground of Navadweep, so it can be covered by the dust of Navadweep." And then people are quoting this, and they say, his instruction should be obeyed. So they now are having a problem with the fact that the devotees are carrying the transcendental body of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj in an elevated way. They say, no, he instructed that his body should be dragged on the ground of Navadweep. So again, argument, the nature of Kali Yuga. So if we pause for a moment, we can consider one occasion when there was a particular personality called Avatra Prabhu, who brought alms from Mayapur to Navadweep. And he went to take darshan of Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj, because that was where Babaji Maharaj was residing at that time. And Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj, he inquired from him about Mayapur. And this person, Avatra Prabhu, he replied, I will not go to Mayapur anymore, because that Saraswati, referring to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and others there, they are Vaikuntha men. They're interested in the Aishwarya mood. I prefer bhajan in the mood of Raja. I'm not interested in their association. So this is this devotee, you could say, Avatra Prabhu, saying this to Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. And again, this incredibly interesting dialogue. Hearing this, Babaji Maharaj, he feels disgust, and he says to this man, this devotee, this Prabhu, it is ridiculous for the sparrow to attempt to cross the ocean. If you are really serious about living in Vraja, give up your criticism. Be lowly and humble like the grass, and always chant the holy name of the Lord day and night. The first and foremost principle is that you should give up offensiveness at the feet of the Vaishnavas. So see the sadhu applying the sharp knife. Do you think you will get information about Vaikuntha from hell? This is Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj, meaning if the devotee has left the association of devotees, where is he going to get information about Vaikuntha, which he's claiming that he wants to have? You're going to get it from hell? Because it requires the devotees to give information about Vaikuntha even, or Vraja. So, and then Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj goes further. Saraswati Thakur is in Vaikuntha, and he is in Vrindavan as well. You are presently in the lap of the witch Maya. How will you know the Saraswati of Raja? He asked the man the question, because that's what the man's proclaiming. He just wants to know, associate with persons who have the mood of bhajan in Vrindavan. He's not interested in persons who have this Aishwarya mood. So Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj just states a fact about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. He's both in Vraja and he's in Vaikuntha. So then he addresses the man. He said, how will you know the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur of Vraja? How would you know? It's almost like a rhetorical question. And at this rebuke, this Aitra Prabhu, he says, I will live with you in Navadvip. So he's going to solve the problem. He's just going to stay with Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. I'll live with you in Navadvip. This is how his resolution is of the problem. And so he hasn't moved from the fact that he doesn't want to actually be around Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his associates. So even though he's just heard Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj present the correct picture of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he thinks, he stays with his thing, I'll come and live with you in Navadvip. And Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj says to him, you are not in a position to live in Navadvip. One who commits offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas cannot live in Navadvip. You are an offender at the feet of transcendental Mayapur. You are sure to become degraded. I live in Mayapur and Navadvip as well. Those who detest living in Mayapur, who will never be able to live in Navadvip. Sri Mayapur is the birthplace of the son of Sachi. It is a transcendental abode. You don't possess the eyes to see how Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he says Saraswati Prabhu, meaning Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he always called him Saraswati Prabhu, have exemplified the performance of Hari Bhajan with pure ecstatic emotion. You are inimical to the Vaishnavas and pray. You are inimical to one Vaishnava and you pray to another for mercy. So see the sharpness of intellect of Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. This man's appeal to him that he's coming to take shelter of Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj is based on insulting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj puts it clearly to him. You are inimical to one Vaishnava and you're praying to another for mercy. So, returning now to the response of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who said, and this is him replying to these Bhajanandis, even though we are, and also the persons who were opposed to Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj's body being carried in an elevated way. This is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta speaking at that moment. Even though we are stupid, ignorant, and offensive, we should still be able to understand the significance of these humble words of my Gurudev, which were spoken to destroy the pride and arrogance of materialistic people. Even Lord Krishna considers himself fortunate to carry the body of my Gurudev on his shoulders or head. After the disappearance of Srila Haridas Thakur, Shri Gaurasundar took his blissful body in his own arms and danced. Such was the reverence he showed him. Therefore, following in the footsteps of Sriman Mahaprabhu, we shall also carry Srila Babaji Maharaj's blissful body on our heads. So he even took the trouble to explain to these persons who were in a critical mood why it is that actually it was the correct thing to carry Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj's body in an elevated way, and doing it with such humility. I mean, calling himself and the fellow devotee stupid, ignorant, and offensive, but still being able to understand what Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj meant when he spoke those words. And he explains that they have to understand how Lord Chaitanya dealt with Haridas Thakur's body. He was immediately lifted up the body and started dancing with Srila Haridas Thakur's body. So that was how those words were meant by Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. And it was correct to actually elevate such an extraordinary devotee of Lord Krishna. So on November 17th, 1915, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta gave Samadhi to Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj after all those very dramatic exchanges, which you can see are in line with the teachings of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. And he did it on the Nutan Chara of Navadvip on the banks of the Ganga. And as it turned out, actually, it was 16 years later that the moving currents of the Ganga, they actually arrived at that holy place. And so it required a repositioning of the Samadhi. So by the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta on August 21, 1932, so 16 years later, some of the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta from Sri Chaitanya Mat, including, and there's even a listing of the names of the personalities, because it's such an extraordinary thing to be carrying the remains of such an exalted personality. So there's a listing of the persons who did it. So I will read it. Sripad Narahari, Sripad Vinod Vihari Prabhu, later Srila Bhakti Pragna Keshav Maharaj, and others, removed the Samadhi by boat across the Ganga from Navadvip to Sri Chaitanya Mat, Mayapur. And this information I got from one devotee who wrote a book entitled, I forget the title, but his name is Karatamrita Das Adhikari, Two Beyond Duality. That's it, Two Beyond Duality. So mention is that the intact recovered Samadhi was brought to the bank of Radhakund at Vrajapatna, where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta re-established it as a memorial to Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. There's a disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, a personality called Nitya Gauranga Das, who constructed a beautiful Samadhi temple on that particular site. So this is just picturing what's happening on this particular day, but in 1932, and a little bit past that to construct this beautiful temple samadhi for Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. So the question can be raised, what's the connection with the previous acharya? And this morning, one devotee shared with me that, he was actually thinking about this. What's the connection with the previous acharya? Do we actually have access to the previous acharya? And Srila Prabhupada has written this. He's written, these are his words, Vyas was the spiritual master of Sanjay. And Sanjay admits that it was by Vyasa's mercy that he could understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Remember, Sanjay actually was like having transcendental pictures traveling through his heart where he could see everything that was happening on the battlefield and recount it to the king, even though he wasn't present on the battlefield. And he's attributing his special ability to the mercy of Vyasa, spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada carries on. The spiritual master is the transparent medium, although it is true that the experience is still direct. This is the mystery of the disciplic succession. This is how Srila Prabhupada has written it, and it's from a purport in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was thinking, how will I fulfill the desire of my spiritual master? Because this is natural. You want the connection with the spiritual master, even though hopefully through this narration I've been able to show how Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was so closely connected to the teachings of Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. But still, at some point after Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj left his body, he was in this conflict. How am I going to fulfill the desires of my spiritual master? How will I be able to preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I do not have enough money or manpower, nor do I have any knowledge or talent that would enchant the public. How can this grave task be performed by me? So these were the thoughts of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because one's looking at what's the connection with his spiritual master, Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, his thought is, I won't be able to preach the message of my spiritual master. And there's mention that he went through a period of like a transcendental withdrawal. But one night, in a visionary trance, and this is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur experienced, Lord Gaurasundar arrived from the east side of the yoga pit with his associates. Amid the sound of Sankirtan, he was ascending to his birth site. With him were the 6 Goswamis. And in addition, and this is of personal connection to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji, Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur were also present in their refulgent transcendental forms. And addressing Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati directly, they said, so here's the connection. Why are you in such a state of anxiety? Begin your task of establishing pure religion. Everywhere preach the message of Sri Gaura and spread the service of the holy name, abode and desire of Sri Gaura. We are always ready to help you, being eternally present with you. In your mission of establishing pure devotional service, you will always receive our help. Behind you, innumerable people, unlimited wealth, and extraordinary scholarship are waiting to help you. Whatever you need at any time will immediately appear to serve your mission of pure devotion. With full enthusiasm, proceed with your preaching of the message of pure devotion as it was preached by Mahaprabhu. No material problems can impede you. We are always with you. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he got that personal connection, and it was a personal experience from Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj, not only through his teachings, which he expanded upon through his essays, and even as I was narrating in a public dialogue at a very difficult moment, he carried on the teachings of Srila Gaura Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj. And then there's this very personal experience, this connection with the parampara that came to him that gave him the strength to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. So these are some thoughts. It's time for Pushpanjali. So thank you very, very much for your very kind attention, and thank you to Srila Anand for kindly singing Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Thakur's song that he composed in honor of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. So we'll proceed to Pushpanjali. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Just explain to everybody, just invite everybody. Invite everybody to come and
Hare Krishna. So let us all assemble here before Gaur Kishor Das Babaji and Srila Prabhupada, and we do the flower offering. So please repeat after me all the pranam mantras which I am going to read now. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namaom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanave Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvantatarine Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padambhujaya Te Namaha Nama Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravirbhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhaumaha Shri Jagannadhaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvaswa Padambhojau Radha Madanamohanau Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumadho Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasthau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devau Preshthalibihi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamshi Vatatata Sthite Karshan Venu Swanair Gopir Gopinatha Shriyesthunaha Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we will do the Srila Gaur Kishor Babaji's Pranam Mantra again, and 3 times we offer the flowers. Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padambhujaya Te Namaha Esha Pushpanjali. Jai. Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padambhujaya Te Namaha Esha Pushpanjali.
Shri Gaur Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj ki.
Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padambhujaya Te Namaha Esha Pushpanjali. Shri Shri Gaura Kishor Babaji ki.
Jaya Gaura Kishor, Jaya Gaura Kishor, Gaura Kishor, Jaya Gaura Kishor. Jaya Gaura Kishor, Jaya Gaura Kishor, Gaura Kishor, Jaya Gaura Kishor. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Samsaradava Nalalidha Lokha Tranaya Karunya Ganad Ganadvam Tranaya Karunya Samsaradava Nalalidha Lokha Tranaya Karunya Ganad Ganadvam Pratasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Bande Guru Sri Charanarabhindam Mahaprabho Kirtana Nritya Gita Baditra Madhyam Manasorasenam Romanchakampa Srutaranga Bhajo Bande Guru Sri Charanaravinda Sri Vigrahara Dhananidyanana Shringaratham Mandiramarjanadho Yuktasya bhaktam chani yunjatopi Bande Guru Sri Charanaravinda Chatur Vidasri Bhagavad Prasadam Shwadhana Triptam Hari Bhakta Sangam Kritaiva Triptim Bhajato Shadaiva Bande Guru Sri Charanarabindam Sri Radhikama Dhavajora Para Mardhuya Lila Guna Rupananam Pratishana Swadana Lolupasya Bande Guru Sri Charanarabindam Ni Kunja Juno Rati Keli Sidbhe Jajali Bhir Juktira Pekshanija Tatrati Dasya Ati Balabhasya Bande Guru Sri Charanarabindam Shakshadari te nachamastak chaste tas tat tas bhavyata eva shadvi vidvena chamasta किंतु प्रभु जहा प्रिया eva tasya vande guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Jasya Prasadam Bhagavat Prasadam Jasya Aprasadam Nagati Kutopi Dajan studvantasyas jasyas trisandhyan Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam O samsarata bhana lalita loka Tranacha karunya ganat ganatvam Pratasya kalyana gurnana vasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Jaya Gaura Kishor Jaya Gaura Kishor Gaura Kishor Jaya Gaura Kishor Jaya Gaura Kishor Jaya Gaura Kishor Gaura Kishor Jaya Gaura Kishor Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Namahom Vishnu Padhaja Krishna Presthaja Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Desatarine Prabhupada Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Harinam Harinam Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Harinam, Harinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh. Nitai Goranga, Jaya Nitai Goranga. 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 Jaya Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Jaya Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Oh, Nitai, 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 Gauranga. Nitai, 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 Gauranga. Oh, Nitai, Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitai, Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare. Jaya Radha Damodara, Jaya Radha Damodara. Jaya Radha Damodar, Jaya Radha Damodar. Jaya Radha Damodar, Jaya Radha Damodar. Jaya Radha Damodar, Jaya Radha Damodar. Om Kishor Kishori, Jaya Kishor Kishori. Hey, Kishor Kishori. Jaya Kishor Kishori, Jaya Kishor Kishori. Jaya Kishor Kishori, Jaya Sri Radhe. Jaya Kishor Kishori, Jaya Sri Radhe. Jaya Jagana, Jaya Jaya Jagana. Jaya Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jagannatha Swami na Janapatagami. Na Janapatagami Baba Tume. Oh na Janapatagami Baba Tume. Na Janapatagami Baba Tume. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Gaur Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj Ki. Shri Gaur Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj Ki. Shri Gaur Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj Ki. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraja Gacharya. Ashtatarashata Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila Gaur Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्ता वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की their most beautiful lordship Shishi Kishor Kishori ki Paramakaruna, their most merciful lordship Shishik Gauranitai ki, their most merciful lordship Sri Jagannath, Sri Baladev, Srimati Subhadra Maharani, Sri Sudarshan Chakra ki, Sri Harinam Sankirtan Jagya ki, Shishi Radha Damodara ki, Sri Kartik Masha ki, Sri Bhishma Panchaka ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Shila Gaur Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj ki, His Divine Grace, Shila Gaur Kishor Das Babaji Maharaj ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to Shishiguru and Shigoranga.
Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad Daine Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha Shilatankanakalae Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimho Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hirade Narsimha Narasimham Adim Sharanam Prapade Tav Kar Kamlavare Natam Adbhut Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे कमलावरे नखा अद्भुत श्रृंगार ललिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृंगा केशवदृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव देव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नरसिंह देव भगवान की जय भक्त प्रहलाद की जय शीला प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि Okay, thank you so much everybody for joining us in this program. We would like to invite all of you for Prashadam. Please join us. It will be served downstairs in the Prashadam hall. Thank you so much once again. Hare Krishna.